What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got a lot to talk about here in this video. First, let's talk about no, the Senate inflation bill isn't removing or stripping $300 billion from Medicare. So there's this mysterious group trying to scare seniors with bogus claims about Medicare. And here's the details on this. Let me know if you've seen this. If you're among the hundreds of thousands or possibly more who've seen one of these commercials about Medicare and the latest bills in Congress, I've got some bad news, some good news, and a puzzle for you. The bad news is that you're being played by the pharmaceutical industry. Imagine that. The good news is that nobody's stripping $300 billion from Medicare. Remember, the pharmaceutical industry has got almost an unlimited amount of money to run commercials like this. By any calculation, that would make sense to you or anyone that you know. The puzzle is in two parts. Who exactly is the, quote, American Prosperity Alliance? Yeah, imagine who that could be. The mysterious front organization behind the commercial. And why exactly do they want us to pay an extra $300 billion to America's drug companies? I can't say for certain, but I'm hazarding a guess that the answer to the second question, who wants us to pay an extra $300 billion to America's drug companies, might contain a clue to the first question. Who is this mysterious organization? The website is registered in Arizona, of all places, whose ownership is redacted for privacy. Imagine that. And which was just updated 2 months ago. I was not able to reach them on this article. Imagine that. Let's start with this. The $300 billion claim that in the commercial that the fact checkers have become so openly partisan and biased about to take them seriously. But in this case, they are actually accurate. What does this bill actually do? Well, imagine going to the supermarket and being given a voucher worth $50 off your next shopping trip. Would you then complain that your grocery budget has been cut by $50? This is what the bill does, and what the American Prosperity Alliance is complaining about. This bill will cut drug costs for Medicare and for seniors directly by an estimated $288 billion over 20 years. But the losers are the drug companies, not you and not Medicare. It's the drug companies who will be able to charge Medicare and America's seniors an estimated $288 billion less for these same prescription drugs. Now, meanwhile, America already pays approximately 2.5 times more for the exact same prescription drugs across the board than other countries. So these pharmaceutical companies are charging us 2.5 times more money, oftentimes for the exact same prescriptions than they sell in other countries like Canada, United Kingdom, Mexico. So they're selling these exact same prescriptions in other countries for 2.5 times less money. So it's not like these prescriptions are only sold in the United States. They just sell them to other countries for less money. They sell them to us for more money because they just want to charge us more. Yeah. So don't feel bad for these multi-billion dollar, even close to trillion-dollar pharmaceutical companies. The Senior Citizens League, an independent lobbying group on behalf of seniors, had this to say. This legislation cuts almost $300 billion worth of high drug prices in 10 years. That represents savings for taxpayers and, more importantly, savings for Medicare beneficiaries on their share of prescription drug pricing. The Senior Citizens League strongly supports this legislation. And right now, America pays high drug prices, effectively subsidizing drugs for the rest of the world. We pay top dollar while everyone else gets these great new drugs on the cheap. Yeah, that's right. Big Pharma is totally unsympathetic group, and I'm sure any glance through proxy statements will show the usual shameless plundering by the pirates of the C-suites. Nonetheless, instead of railing at Big Pharma and marveling at the low drug prices paid by the rest of the world, so I see no reason here why Americans, and seniors here in the United States should have to pay more money just because pharmaceutical companies want to charge us more than they do other people in the rest of the world. You let me know your thoughts here on this, but I personally am sick and tired of Americans being gouged so these pharmaceutical companies can make billions and billions of dollars more than the already billions and billions of dollars that they need to make. So instead of making $100 billion, they'll make $80 billion, just as an example here. It just seems just totally outrageous to me. And insulin is a perfect example here. We went over this a day ago. It costs like $3 to $6 to make the average insulin, and yet they charge hundreds of dollars to make it. The patent for insulin expired many years ago, hasn't changed at all, and yet the price of it has doubled, tripled, quadrupled over the years, and the price of it has gone up exponentially, and nothing has changed about making insulin except for the price that they charge people. So, in this legislation, we'll cap the cost of insulin at $35 for millions of people on Medicare. Unfortunately, the Republicans in the Senate voted no. 43 Republicans voted no on the bill to cap insulin prices at $35 a month for people not on Medicare, on private insurance, and people who work at jobs and get health insurance through their job and not on Medicare. 7 Republicans voted yes, along with all 50 Democrats in the Senate, for 57 yes votes and 43 no votes, but they needed 60 votes to cap insulin prices at $35 a month for millions of people not on Medicare. So it will cap it for $35 a month for for insulin for people on Medicare, but it will not. The 43 Republicans voted no for some reason I can't figure out. I mean, I know why it was voted no, because it doesn't go with the reconciliation rules, but when it comes to humans and saving lives, I can't figure that part out. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says that they are going to vote again on this in the Senate, presumably on a standalone bill, to try to pressure the Republicans to pass this. It did only fail by 3 votes, so hopefully we can get this passed, because it should not be a Republican versus Democrat thing. This should just be a people thing, because millions of people can't afford insulin, and if they can get this passed, would be a really great thing. Remember that the pressure was put on the bill for the President Biden, and the Senate passed the bill to help millions of veterans get health care that were exposed to toxic burn pits and to several different things here as well. So this was a really good thing here for our country as well. So they have come together for multiple different things between Republicans and Democrats here recently, but there is a lot more that Congress could be doing here, more going forward. This was a really significant bill because it did provide health care to millions of our you can just see the footage here. It did provide health care to millions of soldiers and military servicemen who previously did not have health care because of this condition, which was a shame, and will now provide it. The House of Representatives will be going through, or is going through, the Inflation Reduction Act here today. It is expected to pass here through the House of Representatives here today, but they'll be going through the amendment process throughout the day, and it is expected to take a long time. Remember, the Senate took 24 hours to go through the process, and the House of Representatives probably will take a long time too here as well. So I'll keep you up to date here on that. But it's probably going to take a while. Probably going to take a while. So maybe by tomorrow, I'll keep you up to date here on that. So, but we'll see here. If the House changes the bill at all, then it'll have to go back to the Senate. It'll have to go back to the Senate. So we'll have to see here. So if the House changes the bill, that's where it gets a little sticky because then the Senate has to vote on it again. So that's where things sometimes they don't want to change it because then they got to vote on it again. So either they change it somewhat significantly or they might not change it at all because then they know they got to do that here. So you let me know your thoughts here on this. And it will reduce the cost of prescription drug pricing. It'll also probably reduce the cost of healthcare going forward because we know that prescription drugs are a significant cost of the healthcare itself. And we've seen this with, as you can see from this headline right here. This is why I like to show you guys this so you guys can see kind of the proof here. We talked about this here previously. Alduhelm, which is an Alzheimer's drug priced at $56,000 a year, is a key factor driving up Medicare premiums. The company was so kind to reduce the cost in half to $28,200 on their own. But everybody on Medicare Part B in the whole country had to pay for a portion of this basically because Medicare kind of doles out that they divvy out the cost of everybody has to pay a share of all the cost of Medicare for everybody. If you kind of understand where I'm going there, right? And this was a key factor in driving up the cost of Medicare premium, this one prescription drug. Okay. And this is why they figured out that this was a large cost of the Medicare Part B increase. Okay. And the company that produces Alduhelm reduced the cost from $56,000 a year down to $28,000 a year. Now imagine going forward here when in the time, years going forward here, when Medicare is allowed to negotiate the cost of prescription drugs, and this is not as nearly as much of a problem. So the company it's almost like a world's first here, right? They lowered the costs on their own because of the scrutiny they got. But that doesn't happen very often, right? How often do we see prescription drug costs get halved on their own because of the scrutiny? This was like I said, almost a world's first here. That doesn't happen very often. Okay. Most of the time, we see the cost of prescription drugs continue to go up, 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 up until like a generic comes out, and then you can get the generic. Some people don't want to get generics because they want the brand name for just because they trust it more or whatever, right? But this is the problem here: is that these prescription drugs drive up the cost of your premiums. Okay. A lot of people don't realize that unless maybe you've watched my show and heard this, and we've kind of dug through the evidence here. I didn't even really know this until the last several months when I started to realize this and read through the articles and hear some people talk about this and find out about the Alduhelm and stuff like that. So, really, we've kind of learned about this together here in the last several months together because I get a lot of people who say, I don't take any prescription drugs, or I don't pay anything for prescription drugs, or I only pay a few dollars for whatever I take. But a lot of people don't realize that when they pay for Medicare Part B, or they pay their monthly premiums, or they pay through their job their monthly premiums, everything is going up because of the cost of prescription drugs. So lowering the cost of prescription drugs is a good thing for all of us because it's going to lower everything going forward, or at least prevent the things from continuing to go higher and higher and higher. I know that my cost of healthcare went up 21% year over year in the last, I think it was the year last year, 21% in 1 year. We talk about inflation here. That was the previous year, but this has got to stop. That, like the cost of college, gas is obviously, it fluctuates from year to year, but stuff like healthcare and college, that never goes down. It just goes up, 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 right? It's not like gas, can fluctuate. We know that from year to year can go up or down, right? The cost of healthcare and the cost of college and certain things never come down, only goes up. It's just ridiculous. So hopefully this will, and also this is the cost of Medicare prescriptions is going to be capped at $2,000 a year. Before there was no cap, you could spend an unlimited amount. So that's about $166 a month. So that's good news for a lot of people because before there was no cap, you could spend an unlimited amount, and the insulin will be capped at $35 a month. So this will bring down costs for a lot of people, and overall, it'll bring down the cost of healthcare as well. And there's also the Obamacare subsidies are going to be extended for millions and millions of people. Those were set to end here. So a lot of people actually get healthcare for free or reduced costs for people that are low income. So I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here on a daily basis. Make sure to subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. It's completely free to do so. And click the bell icon so you get notifications when we go live here on a daily basis. It's completely free to do so. You can click here to watch my newest video on Social Security raises. New information just came out here on that. And my newest video on stimulus checks coming out here because of the recession. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.